Episode 40. Screw the kids. This is our marriage. Welcome back to One Extraordinary Marriage, where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of intimacy. You're here with Elisa DiLorenzo.
And Tony DiLorenzo.
And I'm pretty excited because we just realized that this is our 40th episode.
This is.
This
is big time for us.
Seems like we keep hitting all these milestones with our podcast. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, we're closing in on 50 episodes now.
Yeah.
We actually should hit 50 before the end of the year.
We should.
Yeah.
We will.
Wow. Woohoo. Thank you. A great big thank you goes out to all of you. We've been getting a lot of feedback that you're passing this on to your friends, and we're seeing our Facebook fan page grow, and all of a sudden we've got all these new fans out there, so that's incredibly exciting to us.
Yeah, I want to thank all you guys out there who answer our weekly question, and it's cool to see what you guys say, because it really makes me think when I click on and I see what you guys are saying. Like this past week's one was when you're down, what does your spouse do for you that makes you feel loved and better? And, the comments that you guys give us are they're awesome. And if you haven't been there and you haven't checked out what people are saying, go check it out and leave your comment there too, because the one community is about helping each other. And I know for a fact, or we know for a fact, that what you guys say is felt from others in the community. Mm-hmm. They take your advice. They hear you. They try new things. And you know why? It's because this community is a loving community. We're here to support each other. As you can tell, we don't have a bunch of bickering and jabbing going on, on Facebook or even with my Twitter account. I mean, we're here to love on you guys. And by doing that, others are doing it, and we just support each other.
Well, and what I've come to realize is that you all have a common goal with us. You all want to see your marriages succeed and be extraordinary.
Yep.
And I think having that common goal really comes through in the comments we get, whether it's via email or whether it's posted on the Facebook page or whether it's posted on oneextraordinarymarriage.com. Wherever you choose to comment or share a part of who you are with us, it really comes across that your focus is on making your marriage work.
Yep. And that's awesome.
And that, in this day and age, when you hear all the statistics about the number of people that are getting divorced and how easy it is to get a divorce, it is very encouraging to know that there are so many people who want to make their marriage work, who aren't willing to take the easy way out and say, you know what, this isn't working. I don't know what's wrong. I don't want to put the energy in to fix it. You guys are saying, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to invest in my marriage. I'm going to put the energy in to make it what we want it to be. And that's awesome. That's awesome.
And from listening to Elisa and I, and if you talk to any of your friends who are truthful and honest with you and have taken the mask off, you know that most marriages are not perfect. I would find it hard to believe if you could find one that is perfect. And Elisa and I don't come here behind the mics and let you know that we are the perfect ones and you need to follow everything we say.
Far be it from us to say that, because those of you that have listened to us for any length of time are probably laughing right now saying, no, you guys are more screwed up than we are. Because we come to you, warts and all.
Yep.
We come to you coming out of fights either with each other or with the kids, or when our weeks are bad, or when, it just seems like things are a struggle.
Yeah. And I want to bring up something that I brought up last week with my whole mouth issue. And, after bringing that up, and we got a couple of comments, and I just want to bring it up to you guys and just say I'm sorry, because one of the things about the podcast is being truthful and honest with you guys, transparent, vulnerable. And I will have to say the whole thing that has been going on with my mouth and my stomach area for the last 3 months, and I haven't spoken about it until now, is because I want to have control. I want to take control of it. I want it to go away, and I don't want to tell anybody about it. And I'm telling you guys, because last week when I finally opened up and just let it go and released it to God and to you, I am telling you, it started to turn around. I'm not saying it's 100% better, but the issue with my mouth has decreased considerably. I'm letting go. A lot of what has been hampering me, I think, over the last 3 months is some stress issues with things that we're building with one, and what I got going on with Fit Marriage, and also with my full-time business, The Dent Dude. And really, I think I've just been scared to tell anybody. I have not gone to anybody in prayer until last week. And I just want to say sorry, because that's not what this is about. This is about me being truthful and honest to you guys. And not doing that, I think, caused more pain to me.
Well, and I wonder, as you say this, in just some of the emails that we've received over the last couple of weeks, it makes me wonder how many of our listeners not necessarily are experiencing the same symptoms that you are, but how many of them might be experiencing health issues, health problems because of stress in their life that they're not sharing with their spouses.
Right. And
I'm not trying to make some kind of big jump here, but stress,
can
when you
manifest
internalize it, manifests itself in a lot of different ways physically. And if there are those of you out there that are experiencing kind of inexplicable symptoms, you might want to take a look and say, what am I holding back?
Right.
What haven't I shared? What is kind of eating away at me that maybe I need to sit down and have a conversation with my spouse? I need to say, you know what, this is bugging me. And it may not even be related to the marriage.
Right. Oh, it doesn't have to be related to the marriage.
Stress is stress, and our bodies, as complicated as they are, have to have a release for that energy.
Right.
Some way. And, it was a while before Tony even told me there was anything going on with his mouth. I mean, we were even talking a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, well, I haven't been able to taste your meals for probably a good month, 2 months. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me?
No.
I cook dinner every night, and you're telling me you haven't really been able to taste it for 2 months? That seems like something I should have known.
Yeah. No, I agree. And that's why last week when I finally released it, it was sort of that, you know what? This is off my chest. I'm not perfect. As much as I want to be perfect, God, I want to be perfect. I know I'm not. And just letting that go last week has decreased the pain that I have had in my mouth. And I'm just letting go. I am a control freak by nature at times, specifically when it comes to my cycling and when it comes to my businesses. And so I get ramped up, and I get on this very focused mindset, and I put my blinders on, and I just go. And I am able to endure large amounts of pain that most people would not be able to. And I've been told this by my doctors. So I just keep on going and going and going. I did go see a doctor.
Woohoo!
Yes.
How long did that take you?
How long did it take me, hon?
Exactly.
It took me a while. I got a good recommendation from one of my cycling buddies. I have had issues going to the doctor because the doctor prior to this visit, it was some kid. And for those of you who are in your 20s, and even in your mid 20s, that's who I'm talking to. 37 years old. When
He's
I go
ancient.
I'm not ancient. I'm not ancient. I'm not ancient. It's just when I go to the doctor, I want to be talked to and not looked down upon from some 20-something-year-old med student who's just graduated, or some doctor who just graduated. So I had an issue with the doctor. Luckily, one of my cycling buddies is a doctor, referred me to his doctor, who is also a cyclist, And that helps me out because I have a common bond with this man. And we can talk about cycling. We can talk about what we're doing. He understands. And so as we're talking through the conversation, I'm telling him what's going on, what is bugging me. He talks about my cycling, my eating, and basically what he came down to was I have irritable bowel syndrome, possibly. He's doing some tests. He says it sounds like it's an irritable bowel syndrome. He took some blood. He's going to run blood. Other than that, we talked about the stress issue, and he did bring up that high levels of stress can come out and manifest itself in many forms. And it's not just the stress that I have with my businesses, but the stress I put upon my body through cycling and what I think I should be doing. So I just want, why I brought this up is because you guys need to know the truth. The main thing about this podcast, what Elise and I have said from the beginning, we are transparent, we are open, we are honest with you. I haven't been. And just ask for you guys to pray, forgive me for my misfortunes. I'll probably do it down the road again. But at this point in time, I had to bring that up to you and keep the prayers coming because I truly believe that God is hearing them because I am feeling much better.
It's always interesting to me when you admit that you're a control freak.
Because I'm so laid back?
Well, because you're always getting on me for being a control, because we are control freaks in different areas of our lives and marriage. And so to actually hear you admit that you're a control freak, it brings a little smile to my face.
I understand.
Because, you're usually
it's just tough. I mean, there are just times when things are happening with the business or businesses that I don't tell you stuff.
Right.
I have told you this before.
I know.
And it's just one of those ways as a husband to not always bring everything to you. I know you have plenty on your plate, and to me, it's not really worthwhile to always burden you with these issues. Although I know I should, I don't, and it's something I'm working on. Fortunately for me, I've been speaking with a good friend of mine, and over the last couple of months, we've grown closer together, and we have had an amazing week this week of just bonding and talking truthfully to each other. And it's probably the first male friend I've had where we can really dig deep like this, where we're going. So,
well, and I think that's an important point in and of itself.
Yeah,
is that both husbands and wives need to have a good friend, really kind of moving into that sort of best friend category that you can be completely transparent with. I mean, I understand that you're not going to share all the burdens of your business. I know that's not who you are. You're not going to burden me and our marriage with necessarily all of the intricate details of what is going on in your businesses.
Right.
That's just the way it is.
Well, and even for this one is different than any other that I've dealt with. And one of the big reasons, having been self-employed for 7 years, I don't really talk much about income or gross income to people. And with this guy, I've been able to open up in the last week or so and do that. And you know what? That's a big weight off my shoulder. It just is. It's good to be able to just tell another male friend. And it's not boasting. It's not bragging. It's just going, man, this is where I'm at. This is where we are financially. This is what's happening. Can you pray for me here? Can you shed some light on this for me? And as a guy, that sometimes is necessary, and it's helpful, and it's helping me just even in this week, just to sort of let go of that sort of stuff and not always hold it so close to the chest. Because I've never had anybody to do that with that I trusted.
And that's a big component of it, that the trust factor. When you're choosing to be transparent, you have to know that trust level is there. Yeah. Because you're choosing to make yourself vulnerable, and that plays out in our marriages too. So often through whatever hurts or things that have happened, maybe that trust level isn't where it needs to be.
Right.
And, here's a prime example in a friendship where when that trust level is really high, you're able to share and, it's not a burden to your friend. He's happy to come alongside you. And so, think about that in your marriage relationships. Am I giving my spouse the level of trust they need? Have we built that level of trust?
Right.
And I don't, I hear this all the time and I see it, my spouse is my best friend. And in a lot of respects, I think that's true. But I think for health reasons, to keep you balanced, you also need to have a same-sex best friend.
Right.
Because I think there are some things that we don't tell our spouses. And I think that's okay. I mean, obviously the big things, you need to keep those lines of communication open with. But there are things with Tony's business that don't necessarily interest me or that I can't relate to. But if he can talk to another buddy in a similar situation and say, okay, this is what I'm wrestling with, they're going to have a connection that I can't give Tony.
Right. Oh, yeah. Like when we're dealing with customers that we just are driving us nuts.
Right. I mean, there are just different things. It's
a different dynamic that I
dynamic.
do that with.
It's a different dynamic,
Right.
husband, wife versus, best guy friends, best girlfriend. And I think it's important to nurture those relationships. It's important to encourage your spouse to have those relationships. And you should encourage those relationships.
Right. But here's the thing, though, too. For those of you who are searching, don't give up. Because if I would have given up, I would have never gone to where I am today. And I've gone through, and not in a bad way, but I have reached out to a number of different guys and have had sit-down meetings with them, gone to Starbucks, talked to them, done Bible studies with them. I have gone out and searched, put myself in a position where I could. And yes, there were times when it was discouraging because we weren't on those same pages. But every single person I met and discussed stuff with has brought me to where I am today. So if I would have never gone out of the boat, I would have not gone to where I am today. And if all of you can remember when the disciples are on the boat and the waves are crashing in, who gets out of the boat? It's Peter. And when Peter is out there and he's walking on water and he has his eyes on Jesus, he's up. It's when we take our eyes away from Jesus, and when Peter took his eyes away from Peter, or when Peter took his eyes away from Jesus, that he started to sink. And so even though I was going through these meetings and discussions in these small groups with guys, I still have my eyes on Jesus. And Jesus has now given me an awesome guy friend that I can talk to and discuss stuff with. So don't get discouraged. Don't feel like you're never going to meet anybody. I know that feeling because I've been there too. But I never stopped looking at Jesus and going, okay, it's